Hi YouTube and Happy New Year. Welcome back to my channel. We'll see if I can actually keep this video under 25 minutes for a change. My video, I don't know why, but my videos keep getting longer and longer lately. I don't know. I was just looking through all the stats of my videos the last year, and you know, I used to try and keep my videos under 10 minutes, and they've grown and grown and grown. Anyway, happy 2019, and this isn't really going to be a transition update, although, you know, if you're interested at all, you know, I'm 6.5 months now on testosterone, and obviously I'm, you know, things are continuing to move along and keep going, and if you hear weird crunching sounds in the background, it's because my dogs are deciding right now is the best time to chew on their bones again. Speaking of my dogs, for those of you who have been following my channel, Joey is going to his final chemotherapy appointment this Friday, and then we're gonna wait and see, I think, for 6 months, and then I think that we're gonna probably schedule another CT scan to see what's going on with the tumor and everything. But his health right now is still good. His energy levels are good. His appetite is good. He does not seem to be in pain. He's energetic. Seems happy. He's wagging his tail. He's bouncing around. He's chasing his toys and just doing all his normal doggy things and everything. So this is good. I am so glad that I decided that I was going to go ahead and get him the treatment, because it really was a no-brainer. I mean, my choices were 3 months of pain and suffering, you know, having him on drugs and everything, and see him dwindle away and not do anything at all. Or, you know, just euthanize him immediately, or get him all this treatment, and, you know, maybe we get a year or more of health. And the radiation and the chemo has really, like, it's reduced the tumor. It's almost gone. I mean, it's an inoperable tumor, and they don't think that they can just completely get rid of it. They're pretty sure it's going to come back. We'll see. I mean, he is a younger dog than they usually treat, and so they're not sure. I mean, it looks like it's all gone, but, you know, from the surface, the big bulge is gone. His eye is no longer being pushed out, and all the surface stuff is back to normal. But who knows what's going on inside? So that's where we're gonna have to wait and see if it comes back. You know, and even if it doesn't come back, do another CT scan and see where it's at, and is it still, how much of it still remains, and that kind of thing. So it's sort of just a wait and see approach. But for right now, he's healthy, he's happy, he's doing good. I do still have a GoFundMe. I'll put a link down in the description below if anyone wants to help. I've gotten a number of donations so far, and I'm grateful for every penny that I get. I've spent over 10 grand on his treatments, but I just, you know, I wasn't ready to lose him, and I didn't want him to suffer, and this was, you know, quite literally the best option. Is he doesn't have to suffer, and I don't have to lose him right away. You know, he's part of my family. I've had him for 8 years, and you know, after losing my husband 3 years ago, you know, and he was my husband's buddy, and, you know, it would have been, it's just even more painful because of that connection and everything. So I'm just really grateful that I was able to take care of him and everything. So there's the update on his health. I do believe, I don't know if I know I made a video early in December. Yeah, I think it was before my surgery. So I don't think I made one after my surgery. I'm pretty sure I didn't. So I don't know if you can see that I have a scar here and everything. And so yes, I got through the surgery. It wasn't cancer. Maybe I did make a video about that. You know, my memory, I swear. The older I get, the worse it gets. I'm 47 now, and it's yeah. Regardless, you know, if you didn't see the last video, yes, I had my thyroid surgery. They took out half. It wasn't cancer, but it's possible. I think it's something called Hashimoto's, where your immune system is attacking your your thyroid and causing nodules, and then eventually it's going to, the thyroid itself will shut down eventually. So I will eventually need to go on thyroid medication anyway at some point. I'm not on it yet. Right now I'm feeling fine. I know my doctor wants me in another week, 2 weeks or something like that, to get my thyroid levels checked to see if the other half has kind of kicked in and compensated for the loss of its other half. And for as long as as long as my thyroid levels remain normal, I won't need to go on medication, but, we're going to have to monitor that every, probably 6 months or so to see where I'm at. I'm already getting blood draws all the time anyway for checking my hormone levels with the transitions, so we can just throw thyroid on the list of things to check and just to kind of stay on top of all of that. So we'll see how that goes. But otherwise, I'm not dying of cancer, so this is good, There's one less thing I have to worry about, and thankfully my insurance is kicking in and covering the majority of the surgery and everything. So I don't have to worry about that. It's not like with Joey, because I don't have health insurance for Joey, so that's why I'm having to pay so much out of pocket for him. But he is being treated by literally the best veterinary oncology department in the United States. I just happen to live in the same town where this hospital exists, so it's just, a good thing that I live here, and he's getting good treatment, and he's just doing really well. So, between the two of us, we're doing good. We're doing fine. Entering into the new year in a good place. I mean, I've got my one novel, Coffee to Go, published last year. Sales are slow, but they're steady. I'm continuing to have people either download and read it off of Kindle Unlimited or buying it and stuff, and most of the reviews have been positive. I've had a few less than stellar reviews, but you know what? Not everyone is going to like every book they read, and that's understandable. And so far the reviews that were 2 and 3 stars and everything, basically it was that they were going into it expecting something different than what they got. Maybe that's a fault of my summary of the book, so I might need to review that. A couple of the comments was, it's just fluff. I'm like, well, it's a romance novel, so I don't know what you're expecting when you're buying something that's classified as a romance novel. I know it's a gay romance with 2 boys. And my one friend who beta read, when she went into beta reading it for me, was expecting a traditional bodice ripper type romance, and that's not what it is. I didn't write it as a bodice ripper type of a thing. And so I think maybe that's also what's throwing people off, is that they're expecting this sort of traditional formulaic style of writing, and that's one of the reasons I self-publish, because I don't want to stick to these Harlequin romance templates that they use in terms of a story. I wanted to tell my story my way, and most people seem to really like it. But some people are they're used to a certain formula with romances, and I did give them the happily ever after at the end of it, but mostly, there's some hints and allusions at the end of it where I could potentially write a sequel, in which case it's not happily ever after, because there's gotta have to be some angst in the next book. But I want to see how my next novel does before I write a sequel to the first one. I'm thinking about it. I haven't decided yet, but I might want to revisit those characters again in another novel. But with the new novel, which I'm titling "Mark My Soul," it's a completely different novel in terms of the types of tropes that I'm using, the level of eroticism, and the level of kink. It's going to be much more kinky. The first novel was very vanilla and everything, so I'm kind of stepping my toes a little further into the water and trying out some different things and seeing how people like that, and before I go back and revisit the more vanilla story of Coffee to Go. So that's where I'm at right now, is things are doing doing, for being a new novelist and being completely self-published and doing all of my own marketing and everything, I feel like I'm doing fairly well. I talk to a lot of different authors and everything, and some of them are doing a lot better than I am, but some of them are doing a lot worse than I am in terms of sales and marketing and that kind of thing. I'm kind of middle of the road in terms of like someone who's new. There's one person who, one author that I follow, and she writes like real short 50-page novellas, erotic novellas, and she has, I think, like 10 or 15 published, but her total sales for all combined are less than what I'm doing for my one single book. So she and I have been talking back and forth, and I've been kind of like sharing with her some of my strategies and things, and so she's starting to rethink what she's doing. Another author that also does a very similar thing of the short erotic novellas, and she literally cranks out a novel a month, and then she actually has a professional editor that she works with, so I do all my own editing. I work with beta readers who give me feedback in terms of, is the pacing okay? Did I have any big plot holes that I missed? Are there any inconsistencies in the storyline? That kind of thing. Things that I wouldn't necessarily pick up on myself, that stand out to other people. So having beta readers, read through your work, and having more than one. You need more than one if you're gonna write and you're gonna use beta readers. Always use more than one, because one person might catch some things, but then another person might catch a whole bunch of other different things. So it really depends on how things go. So yeah, I use beta readers, but I do all my own editing. I've spent 20 years doing tech writing and doing my own editing of that. It's not like my managers at the tech company I worked for were going to hire a professional editor to edit my writing. I was expected to do that myself, so I just got really good at it. And I do still need to. I can't just edit one time and it's done. It's taking me somewhere between 7 to 10 rounds of editing, including at least half of those with feedback from beta readers. So I do a bunch of read-throughs and things myself without beta readers, but about half the time I'm like, I send it off to beta readers and get their feedback, and I'm editing through, and then like I'm incorporating their feedback, but at the same time I'm also editing myself on top of that. So that seems to work for me. With Coffee to Go, I've gotten good feedback in terms of the actual writing. Everyone says that the writing is good, the writing is clean, that they're not catching any glaring errors or anything like that. So, and I've actually had several people be like, compliments to your editor. And I'm like, thank you. I did it myself, but thank you. So now, of course, as I start producing more books and everything, if I start making enough sales to afford to hire a professional editor, I think I would very much, think about doing that. If I can find one that I can have a good relationship with and who gets and understands my work and doesn't, because I've had a couple of like test reads with some editors, and the kind of feedback that they give me, I know that I wouldn't be compatible with them, because they're basically trying to, their feedback kind of rewrites the entire intention of my story. I mean, usually it's only, they only like, with a test read it's only like the first chapter, but like they want to completely change the storyline, the level of detail that I give, more flowery prose, and everything, and I'm like, that's not me. That's you, maybe that's what you like to read, but I don't write flowery prose. I don't add, I'm not J.R.R. Tolkien, and I don't spend 5 pages describing a wooden spoon. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but he puts so much detail. I mean, way too much detail. Lord of the Rings could easily have been a third of the length it is, if he had skipped some of the atmospheric detail that he gave. And some people love reading that kind of thing. I don't. I've never liked, it's one of the reasons why I love The Lord of the Rings in terms of the story. It's a great story, I love the movies, and I have read the novels twice through, but it's such a slog to read them because of the level of detail. I'm like, can we get back to the action? What's going on with Frodo? What's going on with Sam? And what's going on with all these characters? I want to know what's going on. I don't want to know, like, that there's a crackling fireplace and a cozy chair in the corner. And all. I don't need that level of detail. And so I don't write that way. And anyone who tries to make me write that way, it's like, okay, you're obviously not my target audience. And because, I mean, obviously I'm not the only person who has frustration over too much detail. So I have a target audience, and part of that target audience are people who enjoy reading a story for the story and not for the atmosphere in the story, if that makes any sense. Anyway, so that's where I'm at right now with pretty much everything. I had very good holidays. I got to spend time with my uncle for Christmas. The last time I saw my uncle was 2 years ago, but I have not spent Christmas with him for almost 25 years. It's been a while. That was long overdue to go visit, but you know, he lives in the Chicago area and it's cold there and snowy, and I like Colorado better. I mean, you would expect Colorado to be colder and snowier than Chicago, but it's not. At least not where I'm at. You know, yeah, we were in the single digits for a day for New Year's, but we're back in the 40s now, and we're going to be in the 50s by next week. So, I like Colorado. Colorado's great. It's awesome. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of do a brief update and say Happy New Year and everything. And I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to make any kind of resolutions or anything because just I don't do that. But I would like to do more videos on YouTube and everything again this year, just to kind of, you know, get back into it. I'm not going to try and do too much of a regular thing. I've been trying to stick to like every 2 weeks with the videos, and I might try and do that. I might try to go back to weekly. We'll see. And see if with the upcoming presidential election coming on and all just everything that's going on in the news, I definitely have some strong opinions going forward that I probably would like to express, and that's what this channel has always been about, are my random thoughts. And so I'm gonna come back and ramble some more about some of that this year. We'll see how frequently I do it. I'd like to do it at least every other week, if not every week, so we'll see. Comments below in terms of how frequently you want to see my face babbling at you. I appreciate comments. I love comments. Thumbs up, everything else. Just let me know. And so, until next time, you take care. Bye.